The American Airlines McDonnell MD-80 was retired 5 years ago today on September 4th, 2019. In this video, we're going to reflect on that, really just talk about it, and overall dive into what the American Airlines meant to the aviation industry and also to my life as well. I hope all of you are excited for this. We're not going to waste any further time and go ahead and get started, everybody. So, as I said, on September 4th, 2019, American Airlines retired the McDonnell MD-80 from their fleet. One of the most iconic aircraft out there, there's no doubt about it. There was nearly 400 examples of the type at its peak in the early 2010s, and it was quite a tremendous aircraft for American Airlines. They flew these all across the country from their Dallas-Fort Worth hub, along with others like Chicago, Miami, Los Angeles, and many others. But it was so cool to see what American Airlines was able to do with the McDonnell MD-80, and once again, the impact of the aircraft and how awesome it was in general. So yeah, what a tremendous aircraft it was. You can see some pictures here. I just thought it'd be nice to kind of just outline them all and what you'll find on Google, and credit to all the respective photographers, of course. But yeah, I mean, it is just a tremendously good looking plane. I've made several videos on the American MD-80 retirement. We've done it every single year since 2019. And this one I thought I would just make a little bit more laid back because, you know, I've got I hate to say emotional, but that's probably the correct word in some of the previous ones, especially the first couple, because it really is a wonderful aircraft. But as my perspective on life has changed, I've really came to appreciate the American MD-80 even more for what it was than what I did in those videos. I think I was a little too sad in those videos and not focusing enough on celebrating how wonderful of an aircraft it is. But obviously, with it being my profile picture, and again, all the amazing American MD-80 videos I was able to make on my channel before they were retired, it definitely is quite a wonderful aircraft. So kind of to top off the 5-year anniversary of their retirement, I'll also be making a really cool model comparison video of all the American MD-80s I have since the NG models release came out earlier this year. So that was really, really well timed, obviously, to really commemorate 5 years since this aircraft went to where it was supposed to go. So yeah, an incredible aircraft. Of course, these operated for such a long time, worked on 40 years pretty quickly. But yeah, you can just really take a look at the pictures here. I'll just kind of zoom in on some particular ones. The American Airlines newsroom definitely picked a really awesome one here when they were talking about the last two that were at Tulsa for the employee event that they had. One of which went on to Oklahoma City, and the other Lewis University in Romaville, Illinois. So really cool to finally been able to see both of those over this last year, and truly an awesome moment. And then you can see some of the other various pictures that they used, like this iconic shot here at Dallas-Fort Worth International. So yet again, another great offering. And here's USA Today on their shot too, so you can just see how tremendous of an aircraft it was in these various pictures. And I really feel like it's a good way to just, you know, you can kind of soak it all in. Obviously, the MD-80, a very unique aircraft design, from obviously the wings being so far back on the fuselage to the horizontal stabilizers, JT8Ds, the nose shape, and obviously the door in the back and all the pieces to the puzzle. But just how reliable it was. It was one of the final aircraft out there as well that didn't have any glass cockpit too, is another cool, you know, thought to have as well. You got the screwdriver piece there on the back of the tail too. So, I mean, it is really cool to think about and just really cool to reflect on and look at. Here's a really good shot. That one's really good. You got one screwdriver piece and one rounded off, so that's cool. So yeah, you can just really look at it. And there's a bunch of great videos on YouTube as well. I highly recommend checking them out, like this best 18 takeoff and landing videos. So, I mean, they're so great. And that's one of my favorite shots, hands down, right there. Come on, focus, please. I guess not, but you can see what we're talking about there with how great that image is. So there's no doubt that this aircraft was truly tremendous, and it was absolutely wonderful. A wonderful picture there, a wonderful shot. That's probably a good place to idle out on that. But yesterday during the Delta New York, the Tulsa and first flight there for the CRJ-900, I was able to actually 5 years ago on yesterday, so September 3rd, 2019 is when I flew the last ever American Airlines MD-80 flight into Tulsa International Airport, and I was able to go to the exact same gate that we arrived into, A7, 5 years to the day. So I was able to record a pretty cool little clip and kind of reflect on that experience. So I'll put that clip in now, and then I'll return to kind of give you a visual perspective of what that looks like from the last ever trip port that I did on that last ever flight in Tulsa. So let's go ahead and take a look at that. Okay guys, so here it is 5 years later. I was September 3rd, 2019 when I flew the last American MD-80 flight into Tulsa, right here at gate A7 is where we arrived. And I believe, I could be wrong, but I think it's the second window right here where I was able to get that really cool shot. So let me go ahead and show you what we're talking about here. So I'll put a screenshot up if I get a chance. But anyway, it was this view right here. and the MD-80 was right in that spot. So I think we got another main line coming, so that's really cool. But anyway, You can see that United was back there in that shot too. So it's crazy to see how the times have changed. And now 5 years later, we have new flights that are coming in that we're able to check in on. So yeah, just really taking a moment here to take this in, because obviously, you know, it's just so cool how 5 years later, you know, it's essentially the same look. It's not exactly identical, but it's certainly very similar to what it was. And see the eras come and go, and all the different airplanes and routes and flights and all of it put together. And obviously just completely different now, you know, with all this additional flight experience that I have to think about, you know, that being what it was and, you know, what it has lived on to be in my life today is just crazy. So, oh man, it's crazy to think about. But anyway, that's 87. And that's where we arrived. It's crazy to think about that. But man, isn't it cool? So, safe to say that it's definitely been quite an era here at Tulsa International Airport. 5 years of greatness, and really excited to see it continue moving forward. It's going to be a really exciting time here. So really excited, but really have to look back upon what's happened here and what the MD-80 meant to this airport. I don't have a number obviously, but probably working on the 1 million passengers that it carried here. It came in so many times. It just was a staple here. So yeah, it's so cool that it worked out that I was able to be here 5 years after that day, on the exact same day, pretty much the exact same time, 3 hours difference, but who cares? It's close enough. So it just worked out so well, and a great moment to reflect upon this area and once again what it's meant to the airport, and obviously the impact it had on my life for the 12 of them that I was able to fly before obviously they retired. And maybe, who knows, maybe 5 years from now I'll be able to be back here and see what it looks like. That would be really cool. But for the moment, we continue to reflect upon this day, and we're here now. Okay, everybody, so as you were able to tell right there, it was quite a moment. So you can see here's the last MD-80 trip report that I made, and you can see the pushback engine start and all that. So just kind of, the ads are kind of stopping me here. But anyway, I was going to show you the various pieces of the puzzle there, like the engine start, pushback, of course. Let's see if it loads up here. So you can see filming wasn't particularly the best at the time, but that's not really what counts. What counts is that it was a wonderful time and we had a bunch of fun. So taking off out of Dallas there, and then talking about the in-flight contents there. The American Way was there. Sorry, that kind of, there we go. Let's see if I can show that right there. We got the Super 80 car safety card along with the American Way magazine, which is now history. But yeah, it's really cool to see how times have changed over 5 years. And you can see the landing here on the runway 18 left. It was really great. And then just kind of pasting through there, you can see how wonderful it was arriving in Tulsa there, and still got similar memories. But I think the Delta MD-80s in that frame, and obviously that's long gone too. So crazy to think how times have changed, but we did have an American A321 there. So that kind of gave us a little bit of a new thought of where we were. And then at the end of the video here, I just give my thoughts. It's pretty emotional, and the microphone wasn't the greatest, but that wasn't really the point. The point was obviously what it meant at that time, and, you know, all the pieces of the puzzle on that. So what a great flight it was. It was wonderful. And then I have just a little clip of it right here. Scroll back there, you can see right there where the MD-80 is. So yeah, just truly incredible. Let's see if I can get it in focus. I'd love to get it in focus here real quick. But yeah, just a truly tremendous time, and it was absolutely a sentimental moment. But I'm so glad that I was able to get on this last TUL flight for the MD-80, and, you know, what an awesome time that was. You know, I really appreciate my mom letting me do that at that time, because obviously I haven't flown much by myself at that point, just a couple of flights. So to be able to have the opportunity to do that was just incredible. 9620 Delta did all the honors, and then obviously 5 years ago today is when 984 Tango Whiskey did all the honors from Dallas to Chicago, which would have been an awesome flight to get on, but unfortunately it was logistically not possible for me at that time with school and all the other pieces of the puzzle. And I'm not sure if they would have kicked me off, since they had mainly American employees on that flight anyway. But whatever the case was, it was meant to be for all those folks that got to check it out. And I'm trying to see if there's any pictures of it on here. But regardless, it was a great time. Here, I'll click off it so we can see all these pictures, and you see how many great videos and pictures there are online. So again, I highly recommend checking them out. This is a really cool, I know this is Flight Simulator related, but you can just see all the various titles that they had, and kind of what all the planes looked like. So there's a working together sticker on 2 registrations. Flagship Tulsa not only had 1 but 2 stickers, so that was so cool, or 2 different flagship Tulsas, excuse me. So that was so super cool. There was a standard, all the standard ones obviously, and then you had faded titles and then partially faded titles. So really cool to think about that, and again, the legacy of this airframe and what it meant to American Airlines and the whole aviation industry, and I'm sure, I don't have a number off the top of my head, but I'm sure the crazy amount of passengers that it flew, and you can just see how iconic the cabin is with the seating and the arrangements and all the pieces to the puzzle. So no doubt that this was absolutely wonderful. And yeah, this was so great. So what an awesome time. There we go. We can kind of see there the flag out of there with the last MD-80, and just an awesome retirement by American Airlines and them recognizing what this aircraft meant, not only to their airline, but obviously to the aviation industry, as American obviously had the largest fleet. And you can see these were the final routes, I believe. I think, yeah, this was the final routes here. So you can see the final cities. So they have Roswell here is where they are all going. And then the final airports that have flights on the MD-80s were Albuquerque, Amarillo, Lubbock, San Antonio. That's McAllen, isn't it? I'm pretty sure that's McAllen Airport. New Orleans, Tulsa, Pensacola, Destin, Wichita, Omaha, Des Moines, Chicago O'Hare, which of course was the final flight. St. Louis, Grand Rapids. Grand Rapids. I kind of forgot about that one. Cincinnati and Cleveland, and Raleigh, Durham. So quite a list. I believe Jeb Brooks did the Raleigh one, which is super cool. So yeah, awesome to think about that, and obviously all the pieces to the puzzle on that. Yeah, was that really the last list? I thought there was a few more, but maybe not. Let's see here. Does it say? This may have been because this may have been the inbound flights. There may have been a different list for the outbound flights, or the last ones. We can see here, 94 Tango Whiskey, the last ever MD-80, did that flight right there, which was so cool. I didn't know it's Smith & Nine New Orleans, so you're always learning during these anniversaries. There's no doubt about that. And there's a really cool piece right there of American boarding pass, kind of old, just to kind of reflect on it. So that's really cool. But yeah, I guess this might have been all the inbound ones, but they talked about the ferry flights to Tulsa. Where was that? Yeah, except for each from Chicago, except for 1 each from Chicago. I think they're trying to say 2 total, because that was correct. There was 2 ferry flights, and I was super fortunate to get to catch one of those heading out to Lewis University, and obviously the other one went to Oklahoma City while I was at school. But yeah, really cool to think about this, and overall absolutely awesome. So those are the last inbound flights to Dallas-Fort Worth International Airport, and then there was a whole party sending them off on September 4th, 2019, out of DFW. It was a beautiful day, and they sent each and every one of them to Roswell, besides the one that went to Chicago to finish it off strong. So yeah, incredible moment. I really hope all of you enjoyed this. This was always really fun to reflect on. I'll talk about it more in that comparison video with the American MD-80s, but just kind of wanted to keep it a little bit more casual, a little bit more laid back. We could get real fired up about it, emotionally speaking, but it's time to celebrate how awesome the American MD-80 was, and excited to get a post made for Instagram too. And again, it's a celebration of how awesome this aircraft was, and we're so fortunate that it got a proper retirement, obviously before pandemic, and all the pieces to the puzzle. So with all that being said, I hope all of you enjoyed this video today. It was super sweet, and we'll also have the Delta inaugural flight from Tulsa to LaGuardia coming out later to kind of keep the vibe up as well. So again, I really hope all of you enjoy this. Let me know what your favorite American MD-80 moment is in the comment section below. But with all that being said, that'll do it for today's video, everybody. Thank you all so much for watching. I want to thank each and one of you for watching. My name is Redriveraviation. Take it easy, everybody. Stay safe. Trust process. Do what you love and love what you do. My name is Redriveraviation. I want to thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you all soon, as Redriveraviation is signing off.